Okay, so something that you guys have kind of touched up on, especially Nozamon, you touched up on this quite a bit, which is, essentially most interest checks these days are kind of like already done deals, especially if they already have a vendor. And this kind of, preludes group buys, which nowadays I feel like that word should really be changed to pre-orders for most vendors, but regardless. How do you three feel about the current group buy model? Yay, nay, what do you think could be improved or changed, and any gripes that you might have with how sets are currently marketed, run, and released? Olivia?
Hmm. I feel like for the majority, we're in a pretty good state. We have a selection of vendors that has the potential to run any amount available, and we seem to have like a nice balance of sets per month. I think we're starting to increase to a number where people have to sort of budget a lot more to get the sets that they really want, which is a little more difficult. But at the same time, like the fulfillment side seems to have gotten a lot smoother. I do think like the IC model is a bit outdated in this age. Like people don't really post ICs to actually like solve many questions. Like sometimes it happens, but for the majority, it's just like I think perhaps we can handle the promotional aspects a little bit differently. So I think maybe just purely from like the promotional before the pre-order starts, if you will, that could be an area to improve upon through maybe like different ways of targeted advertising.
Okay. Oblaska, what do you think about the current marketing and group buy model?
So currently we have ICs and group GBs. So I think we could, at this point, yeah, we see ICs often enough posted, myself included, where projects you aren't really gauging interest, you're preparing the set for group buy. So there could maybe be a third category added instead of that's right between IC and group buys. And regarding the group buy model overall, I think there's enough players in this game now that if there was a better way of doing it, someone would do it.
Yeah, that's definitely understandable. And to Zan, I know you probably have quite a bit of opinions about this because it's interesting because I always think nowadays most ICs, especially from more reputable vendors, like if I see an IC from one of you three, I treat it more like here's marketing for my next set. Here's the teaser for it that's going to be releasing, in the next 6 months to 18 months. And like for example, Nightmare Nautilus is like a movie route where you release a trailer a year before, and then a month before you're going to release the next updated interest check. But how do you feel about the current model from going from IC to GB and how they're actually run?
I was actually thinking about that, about when you said the trailer. You know how Marvel now does the cinematic, like this year in the San Diego Comic Con, they did that, like, these are our next 10 years of movies. Here you are. Now you see them. Maybe I should do the same. Maybe I should just post them and post them. This set is going to be done this year, and this one this year, and this one this year. And that's I will open the well, yeah, that's clever. Maybe
I want to see the Zamumon keycap universe.
Okay, you can get it soon. I have to talk with Oblowski first. Because we are working on that. We are working on that, I guess.
Yes. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Yes.
If we proceed with that project, then we definitely need a nice graph like Marvel has for their next 4 years of movies.
I want to see which ones are the Zamumon and Oblotsky canon movies. Which ones are the Oblotsky standalone keycap sets? Which one?
Spin-offs.
Well, you will see. You will learn more about that if things go well. because there are many players involved, we could say, and hopefully it goes well. Hopefully, let's see.
We need to fly to San Francisco.
Yeah, let's just say, yeah, you are giving a lot, but yeah, well, there are multiple vendors there. Like, we need to go to NorCal actually to talk with vendors and convince them about the idea, I guess. But going back to the intercheck thing, for me, interchecks, I think they are dying. They are a endangered species that will disappear, like the polar bears, very soon.
Don't say
So-
that about polar bears. I don't want them to disappear.
Okay, yeah, but the interchecks are going. Like, you now have the interchecks doing, like, now the interchecks are people PMing one of those pre-made renders on Discord to other people, to other guys on their on a channel, and that's their intercheck. And then you probably PM they probably PM a vendor, and because there are 3 or 4 vendors, maybe one says no, but maybe another one says, yeah, I like this set, and then you already have the set scheduled for a month and with a vendor, and then you have to go with the other I'm primarily talking about North America and the US, so there you have 4 vendors, 5 vendors, but then for the other regions you just go to one vendor per region. Like, even in Australia you just go with Daily Clack, China Sea Frontier or KBD fans. Japan, you go to Yusakobo if you want to, which they are new, and Ilam Kibi in Singapore. Like, there's, and in Europe you just have 2 options basically, which is Candy Keys and My Keyboard U, which is the one that I mostly, if not always, go with. So I think that interchecks are not that thing anymore, because if we think about drop, they probably like to work always with the same people. It makes their life easier.
Mm-hmm.
It makes them, especially drop plans. Like, I have known that Nautilus Nightmares was going to be in December 2019, probably in October 2018. I don't know when. Like, drop has to schedule things long term, because now before they didn't do this, and they, ever since they have done this, they have done the group buys very, very well, I guess. I don't know if Oblowski's opinion about how the scheduling has been, but it has really improved. They still need to improve it a little bit more, in my opinion, but
it's better than
now that
last
they
year.
schedule sets, and think which profile run each month and try to balance everything, they have done very well. So yeah, with those sets, you drop probably likes to work with the same people, because they can talk with them about maybe another round of SA Godspeed, and talk about that another round last year, and have it ready months ahead, with everything ready, and when they need the assets for the group buy, they will be ready in time, and quotes months ahead and everything months ahead. Ideally, sometimes it's just weeks ahead.
It's interesting you mentioned, scheduling, with, drop essentially has through 2020 every month figured out on what they were going to run. From my sources,
no, they have 2019
or 2019 and probably mostly through 2020. But from my sources,
they have a
rough estimate, yeah. But through my sources and, asking around, I know Dixie Mech and Novel Keys are also pretty similar, where they have some decently length schedules planned out for different sets and different months. And for those of you watching this video, these I already have made this analogy, but for these 3 is the first time I'll be making my analogy to them. Might have already talked to Olivia about it, not sure. But the way I see it is there's so many GMK sets running every single month. All the ICs are mostly, to a degree, acting as marketing, and all the group buys are essentially making MOQ. 2019, I think we've only had 2 GMK sets that didn't make MOQ. I will edit myself for the big wrong stamp if I am wrong, but I think it's only 2 that have failed MOQ in 2019.
I can't even recall them.
Hammerhead and
Hammerhead?
Yeah, Hammerhead, and there's one. I could have swore there was one more.
Hammerhead was because of the kids.
Yeah, also the
More
kids.
than the-
it was the kit design.
I'm
that
still considering
made-
that a failure, in terms of
Yeah, it was.
group buys.
Of course, it was a failure if it didn't.
So
It was cancelled.
So I kind of have this feeling, and I'm gonna pen this myself. No, it could be completely wrong. This month of August, I think, will prove me correct or incorrect. This month there is like 5 group buys going on right now. We got GMK VOC, GMK 8008, GMK Voyage, GMK Night Runner, GMK Merlin.
There are 12
Froyo
actually.
Froyo's starting,
Sure.
I think, tomorrow.
Today?
Today.
I think it's live now.
This might be live now, and there's a shit ton of GMK sets running on August, and I believe at
There
this
are
point
actually 12.
running. I thought there's like, I think that's counting interest
Yes.
checks. Oh,
No. Let me get the list because I think I have it here.
well, post Huey will
Because
be
you're forgetting
editing.
about
We'll be editing all these.
8008,
I
8008.
got that one.
Yeah. If we are talking about GMK, there are 10 GMK sets,
Okay,
and then there's an SA set, I think.
I'm just counting.
MT3
I'm just
set.
counting GMK right now, but that list is going to be posted on the screen in editing.
And next month there are like 5 GMK sets that I can think of.
Yeah, so that's why I believe
That's a lot.
what I'm penning now is essentially, if for example August, if they all make MOQ, which could be a thing, I believe GMK sets are slowly entering the age of post MOQ. In Star Trek: The Next Generation, Earth had essentially reached the point of post scarcity, which is an awesome future to have. Awesome future except for the Borg existing. In the keyboard world, I think we're slowly transitioning to the post MOQ world for GMK, where essentially any GMK set that gets thought up of that makes it far enough that a vendor wants to pick it up and run it will essentially make MOQ. What
And
do you
if
guys
you don't-
think?
And if you don't, just remember Hunterbyte made it.
Exactly, and one of my biggest examples is that, hey, if Honderbyte can make it, essentially anything can these days. Do you guys think we are transitioning to this period of, if a vendor is willing to run it, it will make MOQ?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
Because
that-
if it doesn't hit MOQ, the vendor will buy extras so it hits MOQ. Because the aftermarket right now, it's crazy. Like, for some sets it has been crazy, so they are like grasping that feeling of, maybe if I, like, the vendor is thinking, well, if I get these units, the worst that I can think of is that I sell them at cost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, no profit. But
Wor-
they
worst
will be
case-
sold.
Yeah.
Blosky, you're saying worst case?
Yeah, no, I was agreeing. Worst
Okay.
case, you just sell it for what you paid GMK to produce them. So, yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Like you do a sale, like with clothes in summer or in autumn, you do a sale and that's it, a spring sale, and you have the sets with 20% off, and
The spring
that's it, and you clean them.
sale.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
Or you take the originative approach and you have 400 Penumbra sets still there to be sold.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I like
Yeah,
I
but
like
they are
the idea
never-
of having
they are never
these
dropping
sale
the price,
sets.
so-
It'll be the spring closet sale, the summer closet sale. It's always coming from
Yes,
someone's
and-
closet.
The recapping.
There we go.
Yeah.
Caffeine.
But I've pitched this idea to quite a few friends, and I'm happy that you three think I'm not too crazy. That this is essentially where we're at.
I mean, the community has grown very big, and sets
And there's
are
still
reach-
room.
And there's still room.
and sets are regularly reaching 4 digits now. It's not like 2 years ago. This was only happening on Mass Drop, and only for the
Not
big
even
sets,
a master.
like Nautilus and Carbon Round 1, Laser, etc. But nowadays, Dots had 1100 sets sold which ended a few days ago. And so yeah, there's definitely big demand from the community for GMK sets, but I think it needs to stay in a balance, because as more vendors enter the game, you have more group buy slots running. So I don't think that we would ever reach a stage where any GMK set going to group buy will hit MOQ. It has to stay within that balance of how big the community has grown.
I don't know Oblowski, but I think that for instance, for GMK Sandstorm, is not going to reach 500 units. So that's why we are pricing it to 250, because there are so many sets at the time, and there are so many good sets coming in September, for instance, that I think that it will be one of those niche sets that people might end up liking after some time.
It's gonna be
So
a
that's why
sleeper set.
Yeah,
Eventually, Zombie
GMK Sandstorm, $400 on aftermarket. You heard it here first.
If it hits 400, look, I have like, I did an inventory today of my sets, and I found out that I have 3 more Kamon base sets that I thought I had, but those don't sell well. But I have some Chocodier sets.
How many Sericas do you have?
I have only 2. I sold one to Slightly Musical.
Oh, okay.